You've worked with many administrations over the years. Has America ever been as polarized as it is now?
Probably not in my lifetime. And I think there's, basically a common sense revolution going on where the Democrat Party has been co-opted by a small fringe, the radical progressive left, the people that want men playing in women's sports, the people that want to defund the police, that don't want to prosecute criminals, they want no cash bail. Those are the people that have co-opted the party. I think there's a lot of Democrats who might disagree with me on traditional things like taxes and spending, but they're not, complete radical fringe. And they're actually moderate Democrats. And that's the problem, is that they've been co-opted by this, radical left, where there's these, what I call 80-20 issues, where an issue polls at 80, like men shouldn't play in women's sports, and yet this fringe of the party has co-opted the party so that all of them are supporting it. When legislation came up to make that against the law, biological men playing in women's sports, most of the Democrats voted against that. So, it doesn't make sense. I think if they dial it down, get back to the center, moderate on the fringe issues, and get back to legislating, perhaps like traditional Democrats. They like to tax more, they like to spend more, but that's not, radical progressive left insanity. And I think if we dial down the temperature, dial down the rhetoric, and get back to common sense. And that's why I think the Republicans won in 2024, because it really was a common sense revolution. Just, sensible policy that works for Americans and is not, some sort of fringe theory.
How can America heal?
Well, I think with prayer, for sure, and I think there's a lot of that going on right now, and you saw that in a lot of the feedback today, the social media feedback, and even on linear television. But I do think there needs to be some reflection as well, and what went wrong? Why are we seeing more of these incidents? Unfortunately, it's part of American history in many ways. I mean, the founding fathers really hated each other. Jefferson and Adams, or Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, had these horrible relationships. Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton had a duel, and Aaron Burr killed Alexander Hamilton. This is all in the formative years of the country. And then, of course, you had, Lincoln was assassinated, and McKinley around the turn of the century, and then, of course, John F. Kennedy. So, unfortunately, it's a painful part of our history. And I think that we just need to, again, dial down the rhetoric and make sure that the extreme is moderated and kind of move to the center.